Hello everyone. Thank you all for watching the video and leaving meaningful comments. Wishing everyone good health and happiness.
Early in the morning, as the first rays of sunlight peeked over the hill, Lytuca stirred from sleep. Her small bamboo house welcomed the new day in silence, save for the crackling of the fire and the warm aroma of rice porridge wafting through the air. She sat there by the weathered wooden table, gently spooning porridge into her child's mouth. The little one yawned, eyes clear and bright, gazing at her, and each tiny laugh seemed to chase away the chill of dawn. In Lytuca's heart, a tender warmth blossomed, though it mingled with a nameless weight. She loved her child, cherished these fleeting moments of peace, but deep inside, she knew today would be no different from yesterday. A cycle of enduring and carrying on. When she finished, she wiped her hands on her worn apron, lifted her child into her arms. Her bare feet pressed against the cold earth as she carried that small warmth to her mother-in-law's house nearby. The old woman smiled kindly, her wrinkles softening as she took the child. Lytuca handed over her little one, her heart easing for a moment, only to sink again as she slung the familiar basket onto her shoulder. That basket, her constant companion, felt heavy, like the worries she bore each day. She glanced at the hill in the distance, where the orange trees awaited. Today she'd climb up there again, picking fruit to sell, earning a bit of money for milk, for warm clothes. Her steps were steady, but her heart wavered, caught between love for her child and old wounds that refused to heal. Down the narrow village road, her husband, Con, walked, an inexpensive loaf of bread in hand, bought from a roadside vendor. The bread was still warm, but he ate slowly, each bite deliberate, as if savoring a rare sliver of calm. His eyes drifted far off, past the green bushes, past the roosters crowing to greet the day. Inside him, a tangle of emotions churned. He thought of Lytuca, of their child, of days gone by, days when he'd hurt her. Today he wanted something different, a chance to make amends, even if just a little. He turned toward a small construction site, where a house was taking shape amid the steady rhythm of hammers. Con stood there, hesitating. The early breeze brushed past, cool and refreshing, yet it somehow chilled his heart. He wondered, did he still deserve this? Then, with a deep breath, he stepped forward and asked to work as a laborer. They nodded and he began. Hands swiftly moving bricks, sweat rolling down his brow. Each brick he laid was a silent promise. He'd try, even if this was just a temporary job. The sun rose higher, filtering through the trees, catching in his eyes both resolute and weary. He didn't know what Lytuca was doing, but in his heart, her image lingered, vivid as the morning light. Up on the hill, Lytuca paused for a moment, breathing in the scent of orange leaves. She stood among the laden trees, her calloused hands deftly picking fruit. Those hands, no longer soft as they once were, moved with strength and persistence. The sun grew harsher, beating down on her shoulders, soaking her thin shirt with sweat. The basket filled, its weight pressing her down. She didn't complain, just worked in silence, though a quiet storm brewed within. She remembered the old days when her family was whole, when Con's smile had been her light. Now those memories faded, faint as the morning mist dissolving into the air. Stepping down the steep slopes, Lytuca carried both hope and sorrow. Each orange in her basket meant another day she and her child would get by, but also another day facing loneliness. At the market, she set the basket down, exhaling softly. Sweat trickled down her forehead. She wiped it with her sleeve, eyes scanning around. The market buzzed with life, voices of buyers and sellers blending together. Lytuca sat, arranging her oranges, a flicker of pride in her chest. She'd done it like always, but deep down she wondered, when would the exhaustion end? When would she find herself again amid these endless days? At the market, Lytuca sat by her small mat, arranging plump oranges in neat rows. Her voice rose gently, clear and soft, blending into the morning's bustling clamor. Each orange that left her hands lifted a bit of her burden, and soon her basket stood empty. She counted the crumpled bills, a faint smile tugging at her lips. It was the fruit of a hard morning's labor, a small comfort amid endless days. She stood, stretching her tired frame, feeling her bones creak softly. Then she crossed the road where a cool green tea dessert awaited. Settling onto a little plastic chair, she savored each spoonful, her eyes drifting over the passing crowd. In that moment her heart felt lighter, if only briefly, like a breeze cutting through the midday heat. Con, fresh from the construction site, stepped out with hands coated in dust and mortar. The modest wages tucked in his pocket brought a rare sense of relief. He headed to the market, his steps unhurried, his thoughts lingering on his child and lytuca. At a small toy stall he paused, fingers brushing a fluffy bear with round, bright eyes. He smiled, picturing his little one clutching it, and his heart warmed. Then he moved on, stopping at a clothing shop where a pale blue shirt caught his eye. It was her color, he knew it well. He wrapped the gifts carefully, whispering to himself, if it made her happy, that was enough. A spark of hope flickered in him, tangled with the guilt of past mistakes. Two people, two sides of the road, mere steps apart. But the market's din drowned out everything, and they remained unaware of their closeness. Lytuca finished her tea, rising with a faint reluctance to leave that rare calm behind. She walked to her mother-in-law's house, where her child waited. The little one chattered beside Grandma, clutching a golden orange she'd peeled, and it soothed her weary soul. She sat, playing with her child, slicing fruit for the old woman, their laughter filling the modest home. Those moments eased her exhaustion, if only for a while. She lifted her child and headed home, her steps steady, yet her heart still carried an emptiness she couldn't fill. Con reached the house first, placing the bear and shirt on the table. He gazed at them, a lump rising in his throat. He longed to stay, to see his child's grin and lytuca's smile, but he couldn't face them. The old cracks lingered, shadows creeping into his heart. He slipped outside, hiding behind a nearby tree, eyes fixed on the door. When lytuca and the child stepped in, she froze at the sight of the gifts. The little one squealed, hugging the bear while she lifted the shirt, puzzled. Grandma must have bought these for us, she thought, a gentle smile breaking through. She carried her child to the room, dressing them in the new shirt, their bright laughter lighting up the small space. From behind the tree, Con peered through the gap, his chest tightening. He saw his child embrace the bear, saw lytuca slip into the shirt he'd chosen, her face glowing with joy. His eyes stung, tears spilling silently down his cheeks. He didn't sob aloud, just stood there, choked with emotion, turning away. Joy surged within him, the joy of a father, a husband who'd faltered, now longing only to see his family happy, even from afar. His feet carried him away quietly, slowly, but his heart shone a little brighter, like sunlight piercing through leaves. Lytuca didn't know the truth. She still believed it was Grandma's gift, smiling at the thought. But that night, as her child slept soundly by the oil lamp, she sat alone, fingers tracing the new shirt. A strange feeling welled up, warm yet tinged with doubt. Was it just chance? Or was someone somewhere still thinking of her and her little one? She had no answers, only the flickering flame before her. That night, sleep came softer, as if the wind had carried away a piece of her sorrow.